I am here to offer fresh hope. Can I have the overhead projector? Let me have the first slide, Private. Now, many of you recognize this individual. This is Adolf Hitler, greatest adversary we ever had. Megalomaniac, sadist, fiend. Conquered half of Europe and beyond before we blew his ass away by assembling the finest military apparatus the world has ever seen. Next slide. Now this is Vladimir Zhirinovsky. He is not God. He just proves that there is a God so far as you and I are concerned. Mr. Zhirinovsky represents our best hope for saving our careers, people. I don't know whether he came out of an Austrian beer hall or not, but he very well may have. This is our new Adolf Hitler. At ease. I know you're excited, so am I, because this psychopath won 25% of the parliamentary vote in Russia, and he says he intends to become the next Russian president. Some of his stated goals, and I quote Mr. Zhirinovsky here, include creating new Hiroshimas and Nagasaki's in Germany. And, he adds, the same goes for Japan. Now, while I recognize that those words might be chilling for the nations named, for your interest and mine, they're poetry. Facing military bankruptcy here, suddenly a psychopath steps up and hands us a winning lotto ticket by vowing to restore the Russian Empire, cut off energy supplies to former Soviet republics, take back Alaska, for crying out loud, as he complains that there are too many Jews on Russian television, and then caps everything off by saying he wouldn't hesitate to nuke Berlin, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima. How can you not love this man? Because it means you and I, people, rather than getting Bill Clinton out of a job, are probably going to be called upon to once again kick a little international butt. Now, waiters are passing among you, as you can see, with trays of champagne. As I propose a toast, ladies and gentlemen, there is a new king nut loose on the world stage, and I need not tell you that it just doesn't get any better than that. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
The late General George F. Patton here on the Imus in the Morning program. 22 till 7 now here in New York. Emily Rooney, who just lost her job as the executive producer of World News Tonight over at ABC, coming up at 7:10, and then at 7:30, Bill Bradley, 8:10, Bob Dole, and Al D'Amato a little later this morning.
Imus in the morning.
Let me talk to you for a second here about yogurt. Did you try that Whitney's yogurt I gave you yesterday?
It's fantastic, guys.
Oh, that's good stuff, isn't it?
No, I mean, honestly, it really is. Like dessert.
I don't know if Whitney's is a new yogurt or not, but, you know, it's not as familiar to me, for example, as Dannon is. But, man, you know how some yogurt has that runny water that looks like transmission fluid on the top of it? I mean, who wants to eat that? No, nobody wants to eat that.
No.
So, because it makes you sick.
Yeah.
But Dannon doesn't have that, so it's thick and fat-free, and which you might want to think about.
Thank you.
And even in New York now, the chocolate cappuccino is available. It comes in a very distinctive yellow cup. It's called Whitney's, and it's 100% good for you, and it's 100% delicious. Whitney's fat-free. You just stick a spoon in it and eat it. It's available at Pathmark, Kings Cullen, and Pioneer Supermarkets.
Do you know there are only 44 sounds in the English language? 44. And when you learn these 44 sounds called phonics, you can read and spell almost everything. That's why Hooked on Phonics is so successful. We've set these 44 sounds to music, making learning to read simple and fun. So get hooked on phonics and take the mystery out of learning to read. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Mom, you should have seen the museum. They had these suits of armor the knights used to wear.
Wow.
But you know what? Those knights...
You know, I got to change banks. Union Trust
What's the matter?
Just sucks. I mean, that's the bank I use in Connecticut.
What have they done to the IMAX?
Well, I was talking to Robert Andrews yesterday, and he said they're just hideous service, and it's been bought by some mob outfit in New Jersey. And no, I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Well, get out of there. You don't need that. You've got enough on those.
are you guys running this thing on delay at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traffic is next.
Well, play the thing. How long do I have for traffic total time?
For AT and P-Meprin. That's a terrific sale. So visit a participating Goodyear retailer. But January 22nd.
All right, time now for the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol, and here with all that stuff is Eileen Marchese Cohen. Good morning, Mrs. Cohen.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
Did you call my brother Fred in El Paso yesterday?
Yes, I did. I spoke to him last night.
You spoke to him personally?
Personally.
Wow.
First, I tried to call him yesterday, and he wasn't in. And then I tried him about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock last night, and they said he wasn't in. And the next thing you know, they put me on hold. He comes on.
What did you order?
I ordered 2 shirts, 2 of the denim work shirts.
We get a shot of the denim work shirt here in C-SPAN. That's a denim work shirt on the dummy.
Oh, man.
Or no, maybe on the dummy.
On the dummy.
How great look. And then, well, what you should have ordered, can we get a shot of the coffee mug here?
Jeez.
I'll have to get a coffee mug, too.
This is ridiculous.
Can you see the coffee mug?
Yeah.
How great is that? Look at that logo. Is that a great logo or what?
Great.
Huh? Isn't that a great logo?
I got chills.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway, Fred Imus, who appears on this program 2 times a week, and who I love a lot. He's a good guy.
Yes.
Anyway, he started out selling these T-shirts as a gimmick.
Right.
No, he was going to give them to his customers.
Just a few very good customers.
Because my brother restores 57 Chevys, but he doesn't do that now because he doesn't have time to do it.
Of course not. He can't stop folding shirts.
And he used to write country songs, but he doesn't do that anymore because I don't know why he doesn't. But he wrote a huge hit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that, Eileen?
I heard about that.
He
That's
wrote.
something.
My brother wrote "I Don't Want to Have to Marry You" for that Jim Ed Brown and Helen Cornelius did. It was #1 for 5 months.
Unbelievable.
I won the Music City News Song of the Year award.
Yeah.
But then he wouldn't write any more songs. I don't know.
But I've done that.
Natural
Done that.
sound.
You've been there, done that.
Been there, done that. Sure. You know Me So Horny? No.
No, he did not write Me So Horny, Bernard.
Yeah.
In collaboration with his brother.
Lou Rufino at the controls is the usual this morning. And Bernard Bergerk is our producer.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. Now we've talked so long, we don't have any time for traffic, but what is going on? Give me about 20 seconds.
Okay, we do have some accidents to avoid. A lot of ice is reported on the Belt Parkway. They've reopened all lanes now between Pennsylvania Avenue and Rockaway Parkway, but we have numerous spinouts off to the shoulder. Also, lots of black ice out there, so allow yourself some extra time. And we have icing conditions on the Garden State Parkway from Toms River right on up to the Union Tolls. And this traffic report sponsored by Tri-State Team Pontiac. I'm Eileen Marchese Cohen for the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
17 till 7 here in New York. Rob Bartlett will be in, for those of you who listen to the I-Man on WRX in Providence, Rhode Island. What's the name of that hideous station we're on there? 103.7, but I think
WRX.
they must call it something, though. You know, because they all have these stations.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't we have a better idea of the stations we're on?
And something about them, maybe? What they call themselves?
Yeah,
the Classic Rock Station.
Oh, yeah, okay. So like it's the Allman Brothers and the Dead and Led Zeppelin and the Doobies after this repulsive program. They're giving away tickets to see... Now, Rob is not... This is not one of these, your Kevin Meaney local jive comics with 8 minutes of material.
Yeah.
This is a great show. And the Bartletts and stuff, they'll be doing that James Brown thing. And they will be there in Providence, Rhode Island on February 19th at the Veterans Memorial Theater at 8 p.m. And you can call them for tickets and get information and stuff. Now, and here now on the nationally syndicated Imus in the Morning program, Rush Limbaugh, who is on 600 radio stations in this country, including this one. Good morning, Rush.
Yes, my friends, as we continue hurtling towards the end of the millennium, and we begin yet another year held hostage by the clutches of the Clinton administration.
They're not taking the ambient studio
Rush
drive, right?
Limbaugh,
I'm fine.
captain of the starship Free Enterprise, boldly going where no liberal has ever gone before. Dillit, Dateline, Mexico. The peasants are revolting. The peasants are revolting. And I couldn't put it any better myself. Boy, I tell you, you want to talk about the bottom of the bottom of the bottom barrel. You couldn't scrape up anything lower on the food chain than a Mexican proletariat. This is a country, folks, where the cultural elite would be bourgeoisie in a mud hole. So we're talking about serious rabble here.
Yeah.
The Emiliano Zapata National Front. The Viva Zapatas, which I believe means hooray shoes. Interesting little story I downloaded from cyberspace off the Mine CompuServe online service. Seems that old Lloyd Benson, you remember him, the Treasury Secretary who brings to mind the gentleman with the pitchfork off American Gothic? Old Lloyd, bless his heart, has gleefully announced the raising of license fees for gun dealers, where once the tariff was a mere $30 for a 3-year carte blanche, now it will cost you $600 for 1 year.
Wow.
Not bad enough they want to reduce the number of guns and tax the bullets to put into them. Now they want to have fewer places where you can buy one.
Well-
and make you wait 5 days to get it. Lloyd reckons about 200,000 of the estimated 284,000 gun dealers would find the new tariff a strain and put them out of business. Which he says is a good idea because, quote, we have more gun dealers than McDonald's restaurants in this country. Only an administration helmed by a fat burger junkie like Clinton would find that an objectionable statistic. Where is this incessant anti-gun sentiment leading? Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility that there will be a guns for buns swap. Say a Mac 10 for a sack of Big Macs. I tell you, with the crime rate in this country, there ought to be 24-hour drive-through gun stores. Off 7-Eleven. Luger King. Welcome to Luger King. Can I take your order, please? I'd like a Smith & Wesson hold the silencer with a side of hollow points, please. Would you like a hot apple pie with that? Well, now that I have the gun, I guess I won't be paying for it, will I?
Here now with apologies to Garth Brooks is my friend Rush to Sing.
Well, I don't care what you think, but liberals stink, and Democrats almost as lame. All those Negroes and Jews, they give me the blues. Our country's dying, and Clinton's to blame. Feminazis are wrong, and they don't belong in my conservative-minded domain. But let's call a truce, stick your head in this noose, and don't let me hear you complain. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those Jews away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces.
A little guitar now. Sounds a little like James Burton, don't it?
And my peers, we don't tolerate queers. Show them what an axe handle's for. You wouldn't believe what we did to this painted swastikas on his front door. I'm proud as can be, 'cause the whole EIB think I could be president someday. But I'm just a man of letters, you see, and they all spell KKK. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those Jews away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces. I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those Jews away.
That'll be about enough of that. Now,
Hey, God, thank you.
Rush Limbaugh here on the Imus in the morning program. No wonder Roger Ailes won't come on anymore. 10 minutes out till 7 o'clock in the hour. Big news here in New York. Hot 97, which is a hip-hop station, sort of. So now they hire these two nitwits from MTV, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover.
Jerk and the Fat Man.
Yeah.
You couldn't find two more stereotypical shiftless slobs.
Well,
if you went into Rikers Island, Martin Luther King would shoot himself if he were around to see these two pigs today. Their morning show could start around 1 p.m.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Yo, Ed, man, your mama's so fat. You need a dress for each leg, man.
So they're Dr. Dre, Ed Lover, and Lisa Glassberg, right?
Yo, Lisa G is in the house.
Get out of here.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Think about it. Shopping for home entertainment today means selecting...
We have 1 minute of free time here.
Think about CD.
All right, give me a blues bed out of this spot. I'll do something for a minute, and then we'll go back and do, you know what I'm saying?
Think how valuable it would be to have expert electronics advice whenever you need it. Think that's a pipe dream?
Think a call from somebody
Harvey
give you a hard time about seeing
Think
our
of Harvey people as your personal
It's
electronics.
kind of a hard time.
Think of why Sony and Moran chose Harvey Electronics to introduce technology.
How I what?
How he woke up, he turned the TV on, he woke up screaming when he woke up.
No, sure, it's fine. I was making fun of the wrinkles in my face.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah. Brand name speakers,
Yeah.
TVs, VCRs, and much more.
Sound like the blues.
Uh-oh. God
I say, baby.
Please don't do this.
Why?
Well, because I like to do this.
But you sound stupid.
I don't sound stupid. I look stupid. I am stupid. All right, fine.
I say, baby.
Yeah, well, here we go.
What a buffoon. Idiot.
I say when I first met her, she said her life was awful tame. I took her to a nightclub and I knew her name.
Aren't you embarrassed?
I said, wait a minute, baby.
He's drinking again.
Somebody call 911.
I'm not drinking again.
Oh, yeah, right.
Elephant dart. Time. Let's go. Load it up.
Think you weaned off that Percocet a little too soon there, Pat.
All right, Scott Muni with sports. Coming up here in New York in a minute or so.
Okay, football fans, you've waited all year for this.
Man, we don't remember that. That's a good idea, you know what I'm saying? Are you two listening to me?
That sounded great. I listen to every single thing you say.
Oh, please.
That's preposterous.
So we'll do sports, right?
Sports and maybe Gus if you want.
Okay, I'll take the guy first, and then let's not spend an inordinate amount of time on Nancy Kerrigan. I mean, she's a lovely young woman, and it's hideous if this nut smacked her with a crowbar, but let's move on. Okay.
I think a little more compassion might be in order here for this lovely young lady grimacing in pain on the front page of every newspaper for crying out loud.
Yeah, it is horrible. Is this a deal like he wants
we have no idea. He leaps through a window and is gone.
Let me tell you something. That's why I carry a gun. You know, I mean, I'm as much for gun control as anybody in this country, but...
Well, there are certain people who should be able to, and you're one of them. Oh, my God.
You almost got by with that.
Thank you, Susan.
There's a chicken outside with its head cut off. Do you have anything to do with that?
Forget the upcoming business report.
Yeah, okay. That was a good hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want this show to sound any different than it normally does. You understand what I'm saying?
Loud and clear, I mean.
You know, so I don't want any dog and pony show for C-SPAN or for anybody else. Is this it? Are we... Sex Sports. Does he have an actuality?
That's a terrific sale. So visit.
Let me introduce him.
January 22nd.
5 till 7, Imus in the morning here now. Mike Breen on the road doing play-by-play for the New York Knickerbockers. So here, legendary New York rock and roll disc jockey and my friend of 20 years, Scott Muni, to do sports for him.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
Anthony top of the front part circle, service on the right side. First court to Oakley. Oakley down low, Ewing in the paint. Short lefty, hook shot, no good. Can't hit it by Anthony Bonner. Yeah, the provocative stuff by Bonner.
Anthony Bonner with the dunk of the game as the Knicks beat the Milwaukee Bucks 92-86.
Let me just interrupt here.
All right.
If we wanted to hear the play-by-play of the game, we'd have listened to it.
Just a little tribute to Mr. Breen.
Oh, okay.
Mike Breen, the Knicks play-by-play announcer. Scott Muni in for the aforementioned Breen.
Well,
I'm
we
in the
just
morning
went through
sports.
that. Well, I just introduced you.
Oh, here we go.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
How long when this will be?
Well,
the Knicks powered ahead by 15 points after one quarter, and by halftime led 48-31.
No. I know you've been playing, the Doobies all your life, and the Dead and the Beatles.
Yeah.
But we don't want a game recap because we essentially hate sports, except when it involves,
We understand that, but see, the halftime score is significant.
Oh, okay.
Because the 31 points scored by the Cheeseheads was a record franchise low.
Oh, okay.
Vin Baker led the Bucks with 18 points and 12 rebounds, while Rolando Blackman had 18.
That'll be fine.
And Patrick, I said the man's name.
I understand what you're doing.
And Patrick Ewing sunk 17 points and came up with 7 rebounds. More Knicks news. They acquired some strength for their backcourt yesterday with veteran Derek Harper from the Dallas Mavericks for forward Tony Campbell and a 1997 first-round draft pick. Kind of putting a lot of hope in the future, don't you think? Who knows if we'll all still be here in 1997.
Fine.
For all we know, that nut in Russia could drop the big one. We'll be roving a nationwide junk heap, foraging for canned goods, and turning our coats to the nuclear winter.
What does this have to do with sports?
What happened? Speaking of winter, Nancy Kerrigan might have to sit out this year's Olympics as another catcher-in-the-rye reading nut smacked her on the knee with a blunt object, leaving Ms. Kerrigan with severe bruises to her right knee. They were very bad.
Saying they hit you in the mouth after you hit her in the knee, huh?
I took a handful of those leftover Percocets you had. I'm just starting to peak. Dr. Stephen Plometritis describes her injuries further.
Nancy suffered a direct blow to the anterior aspect of the right knee. It's involving her patella, which is her kneecap. She has a bruise to her quadricep tendon, as well as the associated soft tissue in the area. She has an abrasion to the overlying skin, and there's early swelling in the area.
Thank you, Dr. Plometritis, with the biology lesson.
Well, fine. Why'd you play it then?
You know, it's just a shame, my man. You train all your life for one fleeting moment of Olympic glory, looking to do better than the copper medal she won in the last Olympics. Now she may miss it because some pant load's got an axe to grind.
Well,
1 minute you're on top of the Olympic hopeful heap. The next you're doomed to skating around a hockey rink wearing a giant penguin head in the ice capades. There's no justice.
No.
What kind of a Winter Olympics is it going to be? Gather around the tube, share the moments when the Americans get blown out of the water? And Scott Hamilton, speaking of blown, covering the figure skating event.
See, that's just not necessary. That's a gratuitous homophobic jive.
Is it me or does Scott look like a ventriloquist dummy?
Well, yeah, he does.
He's standing there with that stupid-ass Jerry Mahoney bow tie of his, looking like Vern Lundquist's got his hand in his back.
I mean, does anybody have a bigger head than... What a misshapen little doofus.
Scott Muni, Imus in the morning sports.
Good morning, Gus.
Good morning, Mr. Iman.
How you doing, baby?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Hey, I was watching C-SPAN last night and I fell asleep with the television on.
All right.
I woke up screaming this morning.
What, because Janet Reno was on before me? Can you tell Janet Reno and I apart? Let me put on some glasses here.
He's not wearing a toe tag.
I am Imus in the morning. It's 7 o'clock here at WFAN in New York. It's time for the news, and here with all that is my friend Charles McCoy. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, I-Man. It is 22 degrees right now. The Imus weather for New York, a winter weather advisory today and tonight. Today, a mix of frozen precipitation, maybe accumulating 1 to 2 inches inland, a high near 30. Tonight, mixed precipitation continues before changing to all snow towards morning, the low 22, and then snow tapering off tomorrow and ending by tomorrow afternoon, the high 31. In the headlines, Attorney General Janet Reno reportedly accepting that she may have to ask for a court-appointed independent counsel to look into the president's role in the Whitewater real estate venture back in Arkansas. The New York Times is saying Ms. Reno concludes she will have no choice once Congress passes a new ethics law.
You know, one of the things, we're going to talk to Bob Dole and Senator Bill Bradley and Al D'Amato, and I've asked I talked to Tim Russert the other day.
Yep.
Deborah Orr and stuff. Is this woman up to this job, or should she be back there in the Everglades wrestling alligator? I mean, what is...
There is...
I mean, I like her and all that, but I mean, she clearly lied about this Waco thing, and I mean, that was a deal just got way out of hand.
There is a lead...
French fried the nuts there, you know.
Yeah. Lead editorial in the New York Times is not terribly complimentary this morning of Ms. Reno and this whole Whitewater Madison Guarantee Trust affair, the entire thing, and the delays and so on and so forth. So.
Tim Russert made the same mistake you did, called it Morgan. And so did I, and I was corrected by Deborah Orrin of the New York Post, who will never appear on this program again for correcting me.
You don't need that.
No, that's not true.
And locally, published reports out this morning say a Brooklyn grand jury will convene today to determine what role, if any, a second suspect played in the fatal stabbing of Yankel Rosenbaum during the Crown Heights Brooklyn riots of 1991. Law enforcement people last week said 24-year-old Ernesto Edwards is a new suspect in the slaying. Edwards is a convicted felon currently doing 2 to 6 for attempted robbery and attempted drug sales, a conviction.
The Imus in the Morning Business Report is sponsored by Shawmut Bank, where small business is serious business. Shawmut Bank know-how that pays off. Well, I've gone on enough about Barry Diller and how happy I am because I love Barry Diller.
Right.
And I think he's brilliant. And today's the day that the Viacom has the last day that they have an opportunity to submit an offer that exceeds that of QVC to take over Paramount. But let me confine this business report to the following. Union Trust in Connecticut sucks. It is the worst bank on the planet, and I do a lot of business with Union Trust. It's been bought by some mob outfit in New Jersey, or maybe not mob outfit,
possibly not.
But we need a new bank, so not just me, but all of the clients of Vincent Andrews Management Corporation, we are taking the money out of Union Trust because the service is hideous.
You need that?
It is disgraceful treatment. Now, maybe it could be Shawmut, but if you're interested in doing business, and I'm talking about, tens of millions of dollars, then call one of the Andrews brothers at the Vincent Andrews Management Company in Darien, Connecticut, because, and I mean, I understand that this perhaps somebody at Union Trust might think this is unfair, but you folks absolutely are not getting it done, and I'm sick of it.
Going to jail.
The Imus in the Morning Business Report has been sponsored by Shawmut Bank, where small business is serious business. Shawmut Bank, know-how that pays off. Imus in the Morning News Time, about 3:30 after 7 o'clock.
At Shawmut Bank, we understand what small business
I don't want
owners
to take a lot of time here all with the news, Chuck. Okay, babe. I want to... God.
What are you going to say about Emily?
I want to get her as soon as you can.
I'll get her right now.
Well, not, yeah.
All right.
You see, I was going to play that Media Watch with Cronkite into her, and I screwed up and played it at 6:14, right? God damn it.
Like overdraft protection, ATM cards, even transferring funds by phone. So, if we pick up the Braxton account, maybe we can...
Well, there's nothing to do about it now, so... We'll talk to her. Then I'm going to do the FCC thing. We're going to talk to her. I'm going to do the FCC thing. And out of that, I want to do either the Clinton Today Show deal or have you decided on something else?
That's a good idea.
Give me live from... Oh, no, give me CBS out of this.
Can you not run that the Media Watch thing again into her? Because it's dead after today.
Chuck's got a good idea.
Track this. A special offer from Katamonsky area and Dannon Yogurt. Buy 6 cups of Dannon 6-ounce blended fat-free yogurt or 3 mini packs. Save the foil lids and mail them to WFAN, P.O. Box 6166, FDR Station.
See what I want to do. I think I want to run it again. But run the CBS thing first.
Catamount on Route 23.
When's she coming on,
Right now.
Okay.
And let you know, she got cold feet on her. But she came to her senses, my lord.
So I shouldn't go in?
Let me know when she's on and when. Okay, all right. I want you to. Well, Dan and Connie are not here this morning because they clearly hate each other.
Certainly.
So we'll have more news after this. Cronkite, that's what I accused you for. That's what I asked you for here just a second ago. And so now I want you to plug in and play. All right, here now, Media Watch, a breathalyzer examination of America's Fourth Estate by the Dean of Broadcast Journalists, Walter Cronkite.
Good evening, and welcome to the dumbing down of our national electronic press. There is evidence, old and new, of what this venerable senior reporter views, sadly, as a complete abdication of ethical responsibility by the increasingly empty suits who are in charge of our vaunted information superhighway. First, the continuing Dan and Connie debacle at my alma mater, CBS. The latest audience measurements are in, and they continue to underline what we've known from the outset of this great co-anchor experiment. They hate each other. The only television moment more tense than a rather chung newscast was when Arafat reached for Rabin there on the south lawn of the White House under the dewy gaze of Bill Clinton. The newscast is dying, as clearly Chung and Rather wish each other would. Dan, seething through gritted teeth and painfully forced smile, sounds as though he's making a hostage tape in Somalia, while Miss Chung, dripping manufactured sweetness, sounds as though she's reading to the f***ing goldfish on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And that's one end of the evening news spectrum, an attempt to force, at all costs, a fashionably proper commingling of gender, politically correct, but pragmatically corrupt. The other end of the spectrum is represented in the tinkering now underway at ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Although solidly number one in the evening ratings pursuit, ABC has suddenly jettisoned the executive producer of the program, Emily Rooney, and replaced her with Rick Kaplan, who held the same title with ABC's Primetime Live, a magazine show. Need I say more? Well, actually, yes. You're familiar with the magazine show formula. Exposés of exploding toasters, exploding pickup trucks, spotted owl and snail darter think pieces, and forays into the Bermuda Triangle in search of the lost continent of Atlantis. Why then cashier Ms. Rooney in favor of Mr. Kaplan, who, despite some success, is still a shaky, unproven commodity? The answer is as near as your local National Organization for Women chapter, and as clear as the latest equal pay for equal work debate. Sexism. At the very moment when our new First Lady, Hillary Rodham Clinton, is redefining the role of women in the power structure of our highest echelons, and, if I may say, doing a damn fine job of it, a caveman mentality refuses to yield to the new realities of sexual politics at ABC. Indeed, it's a wonder to this revered and well-reasoned old reporter that Kaplan and Roone Arledge didn't walk into Ms. Rooney's office, hit her over the head with a tree limb, drag her out by the hair while chanting, ooga booga, ooga booga, and then stand staring at their hands, wondering what opposed thumbs were for. Yes, ABC. Anything but correct. And yet, sad as these situations are, the single most damning demonstration of television irresponsibility and dumbing down of standards is occurring right now, here, even as I speak. C-SPAN, the television enterprise that pretends to inform, to educate, to hold itself above the insipid, vulgar, and mundane, is broadcasting the nationally syndicated Imus in the Morning program right now, live, begging the question, can the Brian Lamb New Year's Eve pay-per-view show be far behind? Put your pants back on, Mr. Lamb, and pick up the phone. Heidi Fleiss wants to check some facts with you. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
Well, it's not good night, it's good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you? Shall I read this thing now?
It's coming up on 10 minutes after 7:10. Imus in the Morning News Time. The first female executive producer of a TV network news show, Emily Rooney, as you perhaps just heard, was replaced on Wednesday afternoon by Richard Kaplan, the big doofus who was the executive producer of Primetime Live, and I should say, a personal friend of mine, as well as being one of the few people who I have met in this business who is actually smart and is a good guy. Having said that, here now, Emily Rooney. Good morning, Miss Rooney.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, it's been better.
I bet, yeah. You know, I actually got fired a couple times. It's hideous.
Not fun.
Yeah, because, you know, you then...
And kind of public, too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, particularly if you're the first female executive producer of a network news program, as we just said. Hey, you know, your dad's on this program all the time.
Yeah, I've heard.
Well, like, sort of. So, may I call you Emily?
Yeah, sure.
So what really happened over there?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that, and I'm not really sure. You know, it was never a comfortable fit. Not from when I walked in the door last May, and it didn't get better.
Is this because now, you know, there were these news reports, and in fact, in the account in USA Today yesterday, because you were, you know, people would send in reports and you were abrasive in your critiques, or was it that kind of thing? Was that a fair remark for
I read all of those accounts yesterday, and I can't say that I found too much in them that I would say was what I felt the problem was. I could probably list the things 1 to 30, and I wouldn't have had any of those on the list. I really feel it was more that I had come from the outside, and it's harder to affect change or, you know, try to break ranks with the kind of orthodoxy of the network elite if you're from the outside. And I really didn't know the systems in there. I came from a local station, and it was hard to come in on the top having done that.
Of course, not to sound like a total Alan Alda wuss, but it's an abrasive remark if it's from a woman. It's a critique. If it's from...
By the way, I said yesterday in my staff meeting that if there was anything flattering about this at all, it was that Rick Kaplan is replacing me. I mean, he's clearly the best news producer in the business.
Let me tell you...
But he's going to be able to do some things that I wanted to do simply because he's been, you know, inside the system. I'm not going to say it's the guy thing, but inside the system.
Well, about Rick Kaplan, and I did want to say that he is a friend of mine, but he is he's got one of the best hearts, and he is one of the most brilliant people I know, and I would imagine that I would be almost certain that he had nothing to do with this.
Nothing. No, he's a pal of mine. He's just terrific.
But do you think Diane Sawyer did? Because, well, I mean, there are the rumors that Diane and Rick didn't get along.
Oh, they're pals right now. It has nothing to do with that. This was me. Well, believe me, this was about me. I hate to say it.
Did you see her sign off on Primetime Live?
Yeah.
You know, about our good buddy? I mean... almost dripping with insincerity, at least. And of course, you know, I'm a little cynical, I guess.
No way.
Peter Jennings, who now, Emily, I'm comfortable enough. I'm not trying to be silly here either, but I am comfortable enough with my own maleness and in my own male sexuality to say that I really think he's an attractive guy.
I heard you say that. Yes.
Okay, and he's well known as a rogue, and he has even said himself that he can't resist women, you know. And this is, obviously you don't need someone like me to tell you that you don't have to answer a question, but he wasn't, you know, he didn't like put a move on you, did he? Or,
well, it wasn't that kind.
He wasn't chasing you around a desk, was he? Do you think this is, and you said before, you alluded to it, that this could be, that you didn't think it was more of the all-white male old boys network jive, but, you know, there aren't any women.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, there are not a lot of women who, you were the first woman to be an executive producer of a network news show. Certainly aren't any African-Americans that I know of. I mean, you wonder why somebody like Ed Bradley, who is so elegant, why, you know, wouldn't have an anchor job, and why, and obviously they're qualified. And I'm not trying to suck up to African Americans either, because I have enough problems, you know, in that area. But you're not going to say that, and so
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, but we can read a lot. What are you going to do now?
That's a good question. They said I could stay there, but I'm just not sure I want to. I haven't decided that.
Well, let me tell you, Mike Breen, who does the New York Knickerbockers games on radio here for us here in New York, is going to be off next Friday. You want to come over and do sports for us?
I'd be great at it.
Well, you would be great at it.
Sure, come on.
Well, we'd love to have you.
What is it? Yeah. What kind of sports are you going to do?
Well, no, you just have to report.
I hope it's not Super Bowl weekend.
Well, you could do whatever you wanted to do. Yeah. Emily, but we've all been a huge fan of your father's for years, obviously, and he graciously appears on this program in the guise of Larry Kinney.
What do you mean?
Good luck, and thank you for coming on, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Emily Rooney here on the Imus Morning Program. It is 15 minutes after 7 o'clock, 7:15 in New York. Let me take a minute here to put this Federal Communications Commission Infinity Broadcasting Howard Stern story into a context for you from my point of view, since every talk show and newspaper on the planet has been calling me about it. And I thought this would probably be a good opportunity to do that. I should say initially, in the spirit of fairness, that I own a bunch of Infinity stock, that I work for Infinity, and that I have enormous respect for Mel Carmazon, who runs Infinity. I might also add that I can work for anyone I want to, and I am only beholden to infinity because I signed a contract a couple of years ago for what many agree now was chump change, but to the point. To put the Stern mess into context from my perspective, you've got to break it down into its component parts in order to see what's really involved. The FCC, what Stern does, what Stern ought to be able to do, and finally, Stern himself. Well, first of all, the FCC is egregiously wrong in holding Infinity Broadcasting hostage to Stern by delaying the purchase of radio stations we want to buy while it considers the complaints against him. It's a peevish, petulant attitude at best. At worst, it's piling on. A power abuse trip by a smug band of regulators who are a textbook example of what happens when you give 10 badges to people who suffer a persistent sense of inadequacy. It's the same psychosis that produced the Rodney King incident and now gives us the commissioners of the FCC. Their interference with Infinity Broadcasting's ability to do business before the Stern matter is adjudicated is not only unethical, but I'll bet you'll find it's unconstitutional as well. The irony here is Infinity is currently abiding by the law while the FCC is not. But then the commissioners are political appointees, aren't they? Now, it's also clear to me, that Stern should be able to say whatever he likes, no matter what puddle of putrescence he happens to be wallowing in at the moment. Praying for the former commissioner of the FCC to die of cancer, as an example, for example. The point, though, is this. If every time some slug says something that offends us, we're thrown into wild expurgatory paroxysms, and then let's just repeal the First Amendment right now and be done with it. And please spare me the "my kids might listen" rant, because that's why they make radios with dials. As inherently offensive as suggestions about diluting the First Amendment should be to everybody, equally offensive to me are the self-appointed arbiters of taste around the country who are holding Stern aloft now as some First Amendment champion locked in a noble struggle to defend fundamental constitutional guarantees. This nitwit couldn't have distinguished the Bill of Rights from his utility bill until somebody pointed it out to him about 20 minutes ago. To cast him now as some guarantor of the Constitution is so preposterous it's laughable. It is absolutely nothing more than another step along the path of least resistance that led him to the voyeuristic rabble that constitutes his audience. The plain truth is that Howard Stern is a vile, misogynistic, xenophobic punk who panders to the worst instincts in the worst people, and even to the worst instincts in some people who should know better. But then folks do slow down at a car wreck, looking for pizza guts there on the pavement.
True.
And sometimes, if you think that's funny, fine, and sometimes it is. Like if they were Howard's guts.
That's horrible.
Spilled as a result of the accident he just had on the way to an appointment with his proctologist or whatever. The issue is that Stern should be able to say what he wants, you should be able to listen to what you want, and Infinity Broadcasting's ability to do business should suffer for neither, stifled by some strutting panel of culture cops decrying the excesses of his species. You know what the real deal is? Because I work with him. He's stupid. That's the deal.
The moron.
There's nothing more, nothing less. He's stupid. I realize better than most folks that humor is subjective. He's just stupid. I also understand that the First Amendment isn't a stupidity test and that it guarantees both contemptuousness and virtue. If it didn't, how would I be on the air? Perhaps the worst insult in all of this occurs when some referee of refinement equates Howard Stern to George Carlin or, for God's sake, Lenny Bruce, two guys who stuck controversial humor in your face for a purpose. When Lenny Bruce said nigger, it was a brilliant attempt to drain the malice from that term to the point that when some little 5-year-old black kid heard it, it wouldn't break his heart. The only thing Stern sticks in your face is a repulsive, mean-spirited, bully demeanor, energized by the power of his cheap celebrity that allows him to humiliate people who can't defend themselves. Anybody can do that. I can do that. I mean, we do work for the same company. And as the saying goes, been there, done that. Because, I mean, I did start all this shock jock business back when it was novel. And for those of you who think Howard's act is the result of some nouveau creative genius, the facts are when he came here to New York from Washington, D.C., he was doing my act. Obviously, he had to come up with something else. And the tapes are available, by the way. So Stern is doing what he wants to do. I'm doing what I want to do. Infinity Broadcasting should not be made to suffer in either case, and you should be able to listen to whatever you want. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll be talking with Senator Bill Bradley, and Howard's going to have a lesbian stick a tent pole through her nipples.
Oh, God.
Maybe I can tape it.
Why did you want to do this, President Clinton? Why did you want to have a radio talk with Don Imus this morning?
Well, I've enjoyed talking with him in the past, and as you pointed out earlier, he did endorse me in the New York primary. He's got an enormous listening audience of people who talk about politics in the course of other things in life. He's also on an all-sports radio station, so there are people who listen to him who may not follow every in and out of development here in Washington. So I think it gives me a chance to reach a different sort of audience. And I also think he's an interesting man. I just enjoy doing it.
In the morning on the fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hey, if somebody wants a tape of that, can we drop in expurgatory paroxysms?
What happened?
Did I blow that?
No, I don't think so.
Sick of that. Tell you what else I'm sick of, too. I'm sick of David Letterman, and I mean, I should like David Letterman. I mean, don't put this punk on television and let him tell people about how I ripped him off. I don't need that.
No.
Enough of that. What am I supposed to be doing?
Snapple.
And Men's Choice.
You know, I like Snapple. Have you tried to Snapple Snap Up?
Yes, I have. Excellent, I have.
You know, I was talking to my baby about that.
Were you really? How come?
Because she run 9-10 miles a day. She says she loved that Snapple better than that Gatorade. How much time can I take for this?
Just the normal amount.
Snapple Snap Up. Get the fruit punch, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it's terrific. It tastes much better than anything else you've ever tried. Snapple Snap Up. Fruit punch. And look for all Snapple products where you can buy stuff like Snapple. You see guys my age and you wonder how come they don't have her like Chuck? We're both 50. How come we don't have gray hair? Well, we just don't happen to have gray hair, but genes. But some young guys get gray hair, and you know what they do? They put this, and it's okay for me to do this. They put this new Clairol Men's Choice. About who, if you're going to think about it, who knows more about Men's Choice? About hair color than Clairol?
Nobody.
So, if you're going to do something with your hair, it's okay with the I-Man. You know, we won't have you tap dancing for Jerry Zaks. If you want to put Men's Choice on your hair, get rid of that gray, because it actually works, and it's not a drippy, icky liquid. It's a gel. You put it on your gourd there. You wait about 5 minutes. It won't drip down your forehead when it rains, and it will get rid of the gray, and it will retain your natural hair color. And you can buy Men's Choice by Clairol at, I would imagine, places where they sell that stuff, wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
You wouldn't get it at Ace Hardware now, would you? No.
Been around the world, seen everything twice. So if you pack your bag.
It didn't even sound very much as though you know. I mean, it was pretty conversational. It really was.
I'm sick of him.
Would you rather
Really is,
be on a really expensive
you know,
TV
damn.
commercial running on the Super Bowl,
Know what I'm saying?
or on the radio telling you about a really great deal?
Yeah.
We can't talk. We're being monitored by
I understand.
nerds and C-SPAN.
Just call your travel agent, visit your Northwest City office, or call Northwest Airlines at 1-800-225-2525 for reservations.
Bernie.
Sale ends midnight, January 11th. Some restrictions.
bonds are neutral themed, since the 86 Tax Act made municipal bonds for certain purposes taxable. To win over the traditional buyer of taxable securities,
We're going to put her over there? Yes.
Fine. That means your savings are going to earn more in taxable municipals and grow faster without compromising the safety that attracts one to municipal bonds in the first place. Better than that, in your IRA or in any self-directed retirement account, that higher return is tax-deferred until you retire. The label called taxable municipal bonds holds some answers to your future. For a free prospectus containing more complete information,
How was Emily Rooney these days?
just call 212.
She was good. Tell the camera he's got to get out of your way. Well, nice and casual. Sounds good. Sounds like she was
What a
afraid of
wonderful
you.
feeling to know you're doing your best to take care of your future now. 425-6116.
7:26, Imus in the morning. All right, here is Eileen Marchese Cohen now with the NOTX Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. Good morning, Eileen.
Good morning, Imus. You should allow a lot of extra time today. Icy road conditions, numerous spinouts will start in New Jersey. Inbound Pulaski Skyway, one lane shut down at least now into the Broadway exit where a car struck the divider. In Denville, westbound Route 80, there's an accident right around the Route 53 construction zone. On the island, a collision westbound Southern State at Route 106 and another multi-vehicle accident. Also on the Loop Parkway just past the Southern State. Speeds on the Tappan Zee Bridge at 35 miles an hour. Due to adverse weather conditions, we have alternate side cleaning rules suspended citywide. South on the Hutchinson Parkway building into Mamaroneck Avenue, an unauthorized tractor trailer smacked into an overpass there. And if you're heading to the Goethals Bridge, avoid it. Staten Island bound. It's closed. A multi-vehicle accident there. This report sponsored by the U.S. Air Shuttle with the most convenient flight times with the latest flights returning to New York from Boston and Washington on time and on the hour. I'm Eileen Marchese Cohen for the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Dr. Georgia Witkin, after completing postdoctoral studies in behavioral genetics as a National Science Foundation Fellow at the New York State Psychiatric Institute, Columbia College of Physicians and Surgeons, joined the Department of Psychiatry at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York City, where she serves currently as Assistant Clinical Professor of Psychiatry, Director of the Stress Program, and Assistant Professor of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. And she appears on Channel 4 locally here in New York and sometimes nationally on the Today Show. And used to, are we going to take a picture of you nitwits from C-SPAN? They've once, where's the other moron with the camera from C-SPAN?
Wandering around in here.
God, why did we agree to this?
Get some valuable shots. The ones in here.
Yeah, let's, anyway, good morning, Dr. Witkin.
Good morning.
How are you?
Here he is.
There's Bob.
Hello.
Well,
I've been watching for an hour on C-SPAN.
How does it look?
It looks great.
Do they carry all the sound and all the stuff?
Yeah, and you see the shirts really well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because that's what we really,
Show up very
that's
well.
all we care about is selling a fresh shirt. Well, you're here for two reasons. One, to stress to people, Dr. Witkin is not a sex therapist, and so, I mean, maybe misrepresented
My
that.
mother is.
Her mother is.
I see.
You deal with stress, and you deal
That's
with,
right.
but you can answer some questions, and relationships. You do counseling, right?
I do.
So there's some questions that we want to ask you, because I've been taking a beating here about
robbing the cradle.
I'm not robbing the cradle. I go out, as Dr. Witkin well knows, I go out with women very close to my age, some younger.
A quarter century span we're talking about?
No, but those will be a couple of the things. Are we calling Bill Bradley, or is he calling us?
Bill Bradley's calling us, and he's on hold as we speak.
Oh, okay.
So let me get this straight. You want me to defend your dating women in their 20s?
Absolutely not.
Yes, he does.
I want you to... no, I don't, but I want you to be honest. That's all.
Right.
That's absolutely all I want you to do.
That.
I want you to do that. So we'll talk to Dr. Georgia Witkin here in just a minute. But on the phone now, one of my favorite people. I was talking earlier this morning, if Bill Bradley ran against Bob Dole, I don't know what I'd do, except I bet both of them wouldn't want me to endorse him after this debacle here of when I blew it with Jim Florio and David Dinkins. But anyway, here, the esteemed senator from the state of New Jersey, Senator Bill Bradley. Good morning, Senator Bradley.
Hey, Imus, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Kind of sad news about Tip O'Neill, wasn't it?
It sure is. He was really one of the great people. He was one of those politicians that everybody loved. You could disagree with him, but it was never personal, you know? And he was also somebody who was very correct in saying all politics is local, meaning you can be interested in the world, but you got to take care of your knitting at home, and you got to take care of your people. And he was a wonderful human being.
I think he was the guy who originated that phrase, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a kind of common wisdom, but he lived it. I remember back in 1976, I was up in Boston campaigning for Mo Udall, running for president of the United States, and after campaigning for him, we went over with Tip O'Neill and his whole family. It must have been 11, 12 of them to an Italian restaurant. Spent the whole evening there with him, and he was the living picture of a family man and a living picture of a guy who was dedicated to his constituents.
Mo Udall, I remember that. He was that Mormon nut, right?
Yeah, but he was a pro player. He played 1 year with a pro team out in Denver.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
The Nuggets or
He only had one eye, though.
Really?
Literally, only had one eye. He was the best one-eyed basketball playing politician I ever saw in my life.
Senator Bradley, Washington Post and the New York Times and all the rest of the papers are making a big deal out of Janet Reno, for lack of a better phrase, dragging her feet on naming a special prosecutor for this Whitewater mess. What do you make of all this?
Well, I think she ought to name it. I think that the president is apparently fully cooperating. I think we ought to get the facts out and get this thing on.
She up to this job, do you think? I don't mean that, by the way, as a patronizing question, just because she's a woman, because obviously, clearly, why are we getting this feedback?
I don't know.
Must be me.
But is she up to that, do you think? I mean, in light of the Waco thing, I mean, clearly she fried those folks down there for no reason and misrepresented the facts of what was going on there. And
well, I don't see any reason why she's not up to the job right now. I think that she's a good person and she works hard, and I think that she should stay there.
Who'd be a good special prosecutor in this, do you think? I mean, we need somebody like Archibald Cox, don't we?
Well, I don't know. I think anybody who does it ought to be independent, truly, in the sense of being able to get at the facts and make a report.
Of course, thanks to you and me, Jim Florial's out of a job. I don't know if he's up to that, but...
Well, I don't think it'd quite be the arm's length that you need.
Yeah, probably not, no. I asked Tim Russert this the other day, and also Deborah Orrin, does Whitewater have the potential, from what you know about it, to become Watergate?
Oh, I think it's way too early to say anything like that. I think it's unlikely. I think that the main thing is to get the facts out, to fully get all the information out, to have a report, and then move on.
Tim Russert stole a term from someone referring to the alleged the allegations made by these two redneck goober Arkansas state troopers about the president calls it Fornegate. Does that mean anything, all of that, do you think?
No, I don't think it means anything. I think this is the gossip level of politics. I think this is what demeans the whole process. Here we have the President of the United States about to go to Russia for the first time with a meeting face-to-face in Russia at a very critical point in our nation's two histories, and you focus on this gossip stuff, and I think that it's really, it demeans the whole process.
I mean, it's one thing for hard copy or Inside Edition or one of those cheesy programs, but why do you suppose that, the mainstream legitimate news media, lend so much credence to these kinds of things?
I think it's a mark of how far our political reporting has fallen. Instead of spending effort, and really it's a matter of spending dollars, because news organizations ultimately have to put their ethos behind with money. And I think that when they start to spend their money on going after these personal stories about sexual events that may or may not have happened 25 years ago, and they don't spend enough money putting their efforts behind the relationship between the United States and Russia, Europe, nuclear weapons, you end up with people who I think are not well informed, and our democracy deserves to have a better informed citizenry.
Coming up in 25 minutes till 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, we're talking with Senator Bill Bradley, who is are you in Washington?
I'm on the road right now.
Okay. If the president had stuck with Zoe Baird and her nomination had come up for a vote in the Senate, how would you have voted on that?
On Zoe Baird?
Yeah.
I probably would have voted against her.
You would have? How about Bobby Ray Inman if he comes up?
I don't know. I'd have to decide. I think that he's got a good record. He's been forthcoming on the tax issue. The Clintons have set up a new standard for how they're going to do it, and he's evidently paid.
I mean, yeah, but he didn't pay until, he didn't pay until he got the job.
Yeah, this thing evolves. That's the whole story. I mean, you know, Zoe Baird led to Kimba Wood, led to Bobby Ray Inman, led to a new standard.
At least we know Bobby Ray Inman wasn't a Playboy bunny. At least
Look, I'd be almost more yeah, but look, Imus, more than the issue you're talking about, I'd be more concerned about a Secretary of Defense named Bobby Ray. I mean, how do you like this? You know, well, Bobby Ray, where are the missiles?
You know, I love Mary Matlin. I mean, I really do. And I was talking to her the other morning, and I said, so, Mary, what do you think of Bobby Ray Inman? And she says, nice teeth.
Yeah, but, you know, you can never tell in these pictures. They might be touched up.
Well, that's what we like about her. She's as vicious as we are and stuff. What do you make of the administration's, at least to me, this apparent flip-flop on this nuclear weapons installation inspection there in North Korea?
I think it's a real problem. I think that what we need to do in North Korea is present a full package that has both carrots and sticks in it. I think we've approached the North Korean situation somewhat of a piecemeal way. I think we've provided primarily carrots, intimating that we're not going to do Team Spirit, which is a military exercise with South Korea that's gone on for 25 years, and then kind of being hot and cold on these inspections. I believe that the key players in this are Japan, South Korea, China, and the United States. We have to get all to cooperate. China's interest in this is to keep North Korea divided, and Japan's interest is to also prevent North Korea from getting a nuclear weapon. China doesn't want North Korea to have a nuclear weapon, but they do want to keep a communist government in North Korea so that you have a divided Korea. I believe that in order to achieve this, we need to present them with a full full program, saying that if you do this, you'll get, if you remove, you eliminate all nuclear weapons, you eliminate the research, you're going to get some recognition, not official recognition, but some acknowledgement. You're probably going to get some help economically. But if you don't do this, we're headed toward economic sanctions, and we never foreclose the possibility of force.
You see, but actually what I was getting at is that there's just another example of the administration, like Haiti, Somalia, Bosnia, yada, 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 of saying we're going to do one thing and then doing another. And I'm not trying to pick on a president, because I'm probably the sole media force in this country who actually likes him and will defend him until, you know, he's impeached or whatever. But
well,
I mean, it's a serious question. I
think it's a legitimate point. I think that our foreign policy has appeared to be wavering back and forth on a variety of issues. And here I think the problem is that we don't present a whole package. I believe you need to lay out for the North Koreans and for the world, because nonproliferation is a critical issue, and if North Korea can thumb its nose at the world and build a nuclear weapon, then what's to prevent other countries from doing the same, like Iran, like Iraq, like other countries that are perhaps as irrational as the rulers in North Korea. And so I think it's critical that you lay this package out there and then you implement the package. China is key because North Korea gets most of its energy from China. Japan is key because there are a lot of North Koreans who live in Japan who send money back to North Korea in enormous amounts. And South Korea is obviously key because across the line they face a massive military buildup on the North Korean side. And you have an irrational ruler in North Korea. I don't think we want to push the irrational ruler into a corner, but we clearly want to lay out a full program, and we never want to foreclose the possibility that we might use force in concert with our allies.
We're not talking about another Korean War, are we?
No, I don't think we are. I think that we can avert it, but it takes strength, and it takes...
well, then how much force?
Well, I don't think that when you say you
send David Hackworth over there,
the use of force, Imus, that's a key phrase.
You don't have to snap at me,
because you don't want your adversary. You don't want You don't want your adversary to calculate. Well, they're never going to use force, because then he's emboldened. If you say you don't foreclose the possibility of force, then that's always a calculation. And there are a lot of things you can do to make them think that, you know, you're kind of moving in that direction. For example, you do not cancel the team spirit exercises, military exercises with South Korea. And frankly, you can do some things with the Japanese that would give them second thought.
But then we're sort of establishing this record, as you and I have just been talking about, of saying we're going to do one thing and then not doing that, and then so how valid will any of these threats be?
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah, no. I think that if you laid out a full package and you begin to implement the carrots and and you had the stick and you begin to take some steps toward economic sanctions, then I believe you could have a package. I believe that it's also critical when the president goes to Russia that he be very direct in his criticism of Mr. Yeltsin. I don't think we should be captive of Mr. Yeltsin, just like Bush was, kind of giving everything to Gorbachev and didn't see the bigger picture. I think that the president has got to not give everything to Yeltsin and see the bigger picture here. I mean, we don't want to wake up 5 years from now and find that Russia has reestablished its imperial relations with the former republics of the former Soviet Union. And that means that we have to be clear about what our interests are and clear when we don't think that Russia is acting in a way that is consistent with our interests or our values. For example, when Russia, when Yeltsin in an election essentially censors the press, I think that we ought to be clear that that's not the way we think democracy should be run.
Like closing the door to the press room at the White House.
It's a little different. I don't see that the American press has really missed out on.
No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding, Senator. Don't get mad at me.
I'd never be mad at you, particularly since you're now interested in younger women.
Now that'll be enough, Senator. Listen, Senator Bradley, we're going to, as you know, I guess you know, we're on WTEM in Washington. And
I try to listen to you when I'm going to work, but they have too many local sports reports.
Yeah,
I want to hear you. I want to hear the fellas.
Thanks. See, here's one of the great pro basketball players of all time, the New York Knickerbockers, saying there's too much sports on that stupid radio station in Washington. Anyway,
to the wrong reports. I like to hear your report.
Exactly. Well, anyway, Senator Bradley, we're going to come down in a couple of weeks. There's some possibility that maybe me and Chuck could hang out with you.
Sure, yeah, it'd be great. You come with me, you'll be able to go to sleep early because you'll be bored.
Senator Bradley, thank you. Senator Bradley, thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be seeing you.
All right, Bill Bradley here on the Imus in the Morning program, 7:43, 17 till 8 o'clock. What are you doing?
Technical malfunction I made.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Say you want a revolution, well, Imus in the morning.
Hello, I'm Vern Gander of Gander World Optics.
Right around the cornea.
I'm not well.
I speak to you as a businessman.
Why?
Someone orders 1,000
It's good, wasn't he?
Very
good, as usual.
As usual. On the bottom line.
Another
guaranteed
Well, see, here's the thing about him. He's loosened up to the point now.
Yeah.
If there's some... God damn it, I hate when that happens. And if there's... Can you tell me how that happened? Can you explain that to me?
The tape in the cart was a little loose, and little Louie couldn't tell. He pressed the button, and it didn't fire. Technical malfunction, man. So we haven't fired today, or what?
No, but I just,
No, you don't need
this is not the first day that's happened. I just don't need that. I'm not a reasonable, rational person.
No.
Am I?
You're wrong about that. I think you're wrong.
It's hot in here. Why, is it hot because of these lights?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And C-SPAN, and don't stand over my, don't be taking pictures of my notes. I don't need that. You're making me nervous. Jesus, I'm trying to cooperate with these morons. Give me some coffee, please.
Right.
Oh, my God. What's the matter? You're going. You're losing it.
That was a great line on Where Are the Missiles, Bobby Ray.
That was good. He's gotten terrific.
He really has.
He's gotten terrific. Remember when he first came on?
He's so stiff.
He didn't know the deal. Now he knows the deal, and you loosened him up.
Yeah, but he's really...
He's a charming, smart guy.
Total gentleman.
So how you feeling?
How are you?
I'm fine. Happy New Year.
Huh?
Happy New Year.
You look great, Doc. Man, what's the deal?
Thanks.
It looks like everybody who's on that show with you is a homosexual. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that because Rob's a homosexual. But,
True.
yeah. Where's Bernard? What are we going to do here?
Right here, boss.
Are we dumping a stop set this time?
Yeah, we're going to dump a stop set, and that's just dump it. That's it. This is a special reception today.
Are you telling the other local stations?
Absolutely.
And what have they said?
They say nothing. They take direction.
Well, they'll do what we tell them to do. I understand that. Which stop set are we in now?
This is the second set.
What do you want to do here?
Talk to the doc, do a bit.
Okay, talk to the doc and then give me I'm With You, Delbert. Out of the doc.
Okay.
And give me the intro on it.
Logging in.
Didn't I have a blue shirt?
Huh?
Didn't I have a blue shirt?
Was the FCC, did you hear that?
I must have been in the car.
No, she was in the studio when you was in. And while they may not always agree on what stocks to buy and sell.
Well, I would just, rather than go on hard Crossfire and talk about it, or Nightline, I thought I'd just cover it here, about where my position on, because everybody's asking about it, about my position on that punk Stern, on the FCC, and Infinity Broadcasting, so. I talk here. 13 till 8 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning. Coming up in just a little while, Senator Bob Dole, and later this morning we'll talk to Senator Alphonse D'Amato. And these are people we talk to all the time, so we haven't just loaded it up for C-SPAN. Also, Rush Limbaugh, Scott Muni, one of the great rock and roll disc jockeys in this country, in for Mike Breen doing sports, and the former president of the United States, Richard Nixon, will be in, but Dr. Georgia Whitkin is here now.
Yeah.
She's a clinical psychologist who practices over at Mount Sinai and appears on television here in New York and on the Today Show occasionally and does other stuff and writes, a book about every 20 minutes. So, how are you?
I'm fine.
The doctor has been on a number of times with us, providing,
analysis of interpersonal relationships among the staff, for one thing.
So, and I'm not looking for you to support my position in this just because,
So to speak.
No, I'm not. So, but I mean, see, I'm 53 years old. Now, I have been out with women who
far younger.
Yeah, well,
your chronological age.
Could I finish the?
Go right ahead.
Yes, they are far younger.
Far younger.
Fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Younger than my daughter?
How old's your daughter?
23.
No.
He gets a chub when he sees
Absolutely
an embryo.
not.
Then let's talk.
See, here's my position. I won't go out with anyone who is younger. This sounds stupid.
Than your oldest daughter.
That is younger than my oldest daughter.
Right. Which is 26.
What a policy. So I'm 53.
Yeah.
She's 29. Will be 30 here shortly. One of the women who I know. There's another one who's 30. Will be 31. And I've also, as you know, Dr. Whitkin, have been out with women
close to your age.
Exactly.
Right.
Haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Okay, but they claim that I'm some kind of lecherous Woody Allen-like pervert.
Pedophile.
I think pedophile's a little strong here.
Might be.
My question to you is this: just an analysis not only of those kinds of relationships, but of just the overall scheme of how all of that works and what professional analyses of that.
Okay, here's how it works.
Okay.
Men are mainly turned on by what they see. So it makes sense they will always be attracted to a younger, rounder, curvier, pink-cheeked, bright-eyed female.
Okay, I liked this woman initially, this one particular woman, because
For
she
her
was...
brain.
Because I thought she was smart.
Oh, come on.
Now, among all of the women who are smart, you're going to pick out the ones that are curvier and younger, and that's what men tend to do.
Well,
Okay, yes.
He gets a chub when he sees a school bus.
That will be. You just be quiet in there, nitwit.
I love your round mind.
So, in other words,
And Leslie Veza said what? That it's half your age plus 10 is supposed to be the formula. In New York...
You're the doctor, not Leslie Visser.
I know, but I'm going to correct her. In New York, it's half your age plus 7. It's even younger for the trophy women.
This is not a... That's insulting, Dr. Whitkin. This is not a trophy woman.
For the gold digger,
exactly
some
what
realism.
It's a very bright person.
I mean, I'm not being insulting, but you would be a trophy woman for anybody of any age.
Oh, then let me say some good things about this.
Well, no, I'm not trying to suck up to you either, but I mean...
Here's the reality. I think that most men who are dating younger women are compatible with them emotionally, because I think most men dating younger women probably have the same emotional age. And I don't mean that as a put down. I mean that very literally. Because, thank you. I hear laughed at. Because men spend a few decades concentrating on other things, and they get ready for relationships when they're around 50. By then, women are involved.
I hate you.
Women, on the other hand, are not attracted to primarily visual. We want a slightly different package. And
We know that.
What?
That's pretty obvious. She's not looking for the visual.
Back to the bank account.
Now, first of all, I think I'm I think, just an assessment of myself, I'm 53 years old.
You look dead.
I don't look dead. I think...
You are very attractive, and any woman your own age would be interested in you. The problem is that you're interested in younger women.
No. There are younger women who are also interested in me. Now, why do you think they are? Is it because of the limo?
Women are interested in men of any age as long as they can deliver what women need in terms of being practical, managing the world, having success, enough to provide for her. That's what women are looking for. And in fact, the older the man is, the more he can provide that. So of course young women want you.
In fact,
old women want you. Almost everybody wants you.
Yeah, but is it because of the money and the fame and the Rolls Royces and all that and the big house?
Part of it.
No, it is.
Couldn't be. No way.
It's a big. Well, Bill, let me tell you something. Billy Joel, do you think Edie Brickell would have married Paul Simon if he were driving a cab? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Do you think Christy Brinkley would have married Billy Joel if he were, schlepping a souvlaki cart on Fifth Avenue?
No, maybe not.
Absolutely not.
But most men are far more romantic than women. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Women are very practical. Women want permanence. They want...
Real romantic.
You shut up.
Did you hear the new Rafi tape yet?
So then I'm not. So then I'm not out of line.
You're not even unusual. Here's the one thing you're going to
Are
have
you guys
to
hearing
ask
this?
yourself.
I'm hearing.
No, we're not buying it.
Are you wouldn't buy anything.
She's a friend of yours.
She's not a friend of mine. She's a renowned physician. She's been on the program a number of times.
Turn off the cameras and see what she says.
That's not true.
Is the question you have to ask yourself. In about 20 years, when she is, my age, and
right,
you're dead.
I'm not going to be.
She rolls in the wheelchair out to the edge of the sea to look at the water while she goes to play tennis with young Christ.
You put the shawl around your shoulders. I really absolutely hate you, Dr. Whitkin. Dr. Georgia Whitkin here in the Imus Winning program. For the first time on C-SPAN, Delbert McClinton, and coincidentally, played this for my baby.
Here comes the weekend, honey. What's going on?
Talk about it now.
Do we put our feet up, honey, or party all night long? Oh, baby, whatever. I'm with you. Are we staying home? Are we going downtown? Are we dressing up, baby? I'm dressing down. Oh, whatever. Baby,
the great Delbert McClinton here on the Imus in the Morning program, and that would support that I'm a romantic, wouldn't it?
Yes. Oh, you're very romantic.
Delbert McClinton, the only. Delbert McClinton and Kinky Friedman, only two people. Occasional Eagle record, but primarily only two people get played on this show.
That's exactly right.
But it's mostly Delbert. And when Delbert McClinton's in your town, you've got to go see him now.
Imus in the morning.
Let me talk to you a little bit about some of that Mexican food, baby.
Nah.
You might want to get yourself a lip lock on one of them enchiladas. You know, speaking of that, Casa Miguel is this Mexican restaurant in Mount Kisco, and it is terrific. I haven't been in a while, but I mean, man, you could get yourself a lip lock on a big old
chimichanga.
Yeah, on one of them
enchilada deal.
And you know a good barometer for a Mexican restaurant, the hot sauce they have, if it's any good. And theirs is, and you can buy big jugs of it and take it home. Plus they make their own chips and stuff, so they're not like those greasy, icky chips and stuff. And they have like
guacamole.
Yeah, that's good. It's fattening, but
margarita.
Yeah, and you can get faced and sure. But it's a great place. Casa Miguel, ask for one of the Idiot Hogan brothers, 914-666-7588. May want to check that out.
You got that Smith Corona word processor from Nobody Beats
The Wiz for Christmas, and all you do is sit and...
Peter Arnett is 59 years old, and his woman is 27.
Well, that's sick.
The question...
Why is that sick?
Well, because Peter Arnett's disgusting.
Well, I just wanted you,
So I'll tell you something about Peter Arnett. He's a traitor.
32 years difference in there.
Yeah, but didn't he marry some cowhead from...
Now, how would it look, though, if
Yeah,
I was
some-
with somebody who's 20?
But you understand all these comments now are being carried on C-SPAN.
Oh, of course.
You imagine the letters they're going to get for this?
Well, it was just a bad decision on their part, too clearly.
Okay, Don, how would it look if I was with somebody 29?
How would it look what?
If I was with someone 29.
You'd look like you were with a gigolo.
That's right.
Sure.
Well,
And how would I even find somebody who's 29?
Well, pretty easily.
Yeah,
but I mean...
no problem.
Yeah, you'd have no problem, but
no.
So you think it looks inappropriate for me to be with somebody 30?
No, I'm saying in this society, it looks inappropriate for me. There's no turn.
Yeah, but you're a beautiful woman, so there's not a plus smart. Plus you're a professional, so you're not going to have any problems getting a date, you know. What are we doing here now?
One more commercial with the Fairfield County multiple listing tag.
Then what?
Then we'll do Charles with the newscast.
Okay, then what did you do there? How many how many minutes?
We're going to do 4 minutes of commercials here.
Now, who's the next guest and what time is it? It's Dole at 8:10.
Dole at 8:10.
This is too hard to work and I'm not getting enough money.
Oh,
Guys, shut up. Gee.
You know, I don't like the fact that there's some basketball players and some football players who make more money than I do. So I don't like.
You make plenty of money.
I don't make plenty of money. I don't make plenty of money for the millions of dollars I make this company, and how I defended them. By the way,
Very strong defense, might I add.
So fast. If you were selling a home in Fairfield County,
nobody on at 8:30, right?
right, nobody.
One of the great rock and roll disc jockeys of all time, Scott Meany here doing sports. We just didn't have time to do sports because we don't care about it. Even Bill Bradley doesn't care about it. Not how to say something to the nitwits who try to run these sports radio stations around the country, is what I've tried to tell them. The most successful real estate firms in Fairfield County here in Connecticut, or there in Connecticut or wherever, have put this new computerized listing service together. It's called Fairfield One MLS because it's the one multiple listing
Marquez, you come on out with the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. What are you shaking your head about?
Because you're berating the staff once again.
No, what I was
no reason whatsoever.
Now, when I swear like that, is that on C-SPAN?
Yes.
No, I don't want that. I don't want
so.
to.
Too late now.
Stop it. Well, I don't want that on C-SPAN, or I don't want that anywhere.
Well, kill yourself then.
Well, I don't want to kill myself, but
Why?
I mean,
Well, I'll do
You have to control yourself.
but I don't feel like I'm getting any help here.
Do you feel
But it's not just this morning; it's every morning.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. But I've always got to ask what's going on and what's coming up. And somebody should be telling me that.
Yeah, you're right.
Shouldn't they?
Then you get this. Hey, shut up. I know what's coming up.
Absolutely. There's no win. It's a no. It's lose-lose.
How is it lose-lose?
Because you just can't. I'm not hearing you guys in there. You guys, would you pipe down?
I've been doing this for 22 years. I know what's going on. Get in, get out. Shut up. Shut down.
What do you think the problem is, Dr. Whitcomb?
I think it's time for you to apologize. You really do that so well.
All right, well, I'm sorry, but I mean,
Oh, stop it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, really.
It's 8:25, almost 8:26, 26 after 8. Imus and Wayne. Are we back on a network now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, live from El Paso, Texas, is my brother, Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
Yo, I.
Owner and operator of the Auto Body Express. How are you?
When have you dated a woman near your age?
When have I?
When you were 20?
No. Recently.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
You dated a woman 50?
I'm not 50 yet.
What? No, I did take Dr. Whitkin. Dr. Whitkin and I have been out a couple of times.
To a Mexican restaurant.
But we have never had sex or
Well,
anything.
the doctor's
Have we,
fine.
Doctor?
The
No, we
doctor's
haven't.
fine.
What?
The doctor's fine.
Yes, she's
Thank you, Fred.
She's an
Very attractive woman.
Yes,
Thank
she's
you,
an
Fred.
attractive woman, Fred.
And got a brain, too. Jesus, what's going on in this country?
Thank you, Fred.
What a 90s guy, Fred.
How old
Hi,
is...
man, what are you wearing?
What?
What are you wearing today?
I have on... Actually, you know what I have on? Well, look what I have on. Get a shot of this. I got...
One of them Lucchese's, ain't it?
Well, no, let me...
pants on.
Where's the camera? These idiots from C-SPAN. This is the belt buckle you gave me for when I was in the hospital.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
what kind of shirt you have on?
Lucchese. But look here.
Show me a diaper.
Look at this. Can you get a shot of this? This is the Autobody. This is your cheesy shirt that you sell.
You don't have it on, though, do you?
No, I don't.
Because I was home watching C-SPAN.
Right.
By the way, they're doing an excellent job.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
I feel great. We're getting calls from around the country, people seeing this show.
Right. And what are they saying?
They want it in their market.
Well, they're going to get it in their market. A year from today,
They want it in Kansas City.
when that maggot punk Howard Stern is out of business.
Hey, I heard that thing you did on the FCC.
Yeah.
I understood about 3 words.
Oh, they were 4 syllables?
And,
So did he.
and the, and FCC. But we don't need them big words, Hi.
Well,
There's a lot of ignorant people out here like me.
I understand that. But I mean, you know what irritates me about Stern? And I'll tell you what irritates me about David Letterman, too. And nobody's been a bigger supporter of Letterman since he came to New York, and he doesn't need my support.
Jesus, I'm sorry I brought this up.
No, but I mean, he lets that punk, puts that punk on his television program and lets him talk about ripping me off, about me ripping him off. And I mean, that's so preposterous, it's just outrageous. And my only point is that even if he is a maggot, he still ought to be, he still ought to be able to say whatever he wants to say. And the FCC ought to get out of Infinity Broadcasting's business. And the essential point I made was that at Infinity, at least we're abiding by the law, and the FCC isn't.
Well, who do those airways belong to?
Belong to the public.
Well, the public. Then I think it's not like a guy has a newspaper or rents a hall and espouses what he wants to you. People have a right to decide what's going to be on the airways. Maybe they're owned by the public. That's where the point is.
Well,
It's not a matter of freedom of speech.
Well, I don't know about that, but I see.
I think that Senator Bradley's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. How about Dole?
Oh, yeah, I love him. I'm going to sell them cups for him, or
Are
give
you?
them away, if he wants me to. He's right about Kansas City.
About what about them?
They're just going to beat up on Pittsburgh.
They are. How about the Giants of Minnesota?
Minnesota has the same chance of winning about the same chance as there is of Janet Reno appointing a special prosecutor to investigate Clinton for anything. She shot her wad in Waco.
Yeah, when
She's the most ineffective attorney general we ever had. When we got kids dying in schools every day,
Yeah.
we need an attorney general like Bobby Kennedy. We need to go after guns like Bobby Kennedy went after Hoffa.
Well, you're absolutely right. We need that.
And nobody has the courage to do that. They're all scared of the NRA and everybody else.
And Janet Reno.
I say let everybody own as many guns as they want.
Yeah.
But you stick one in your pocket and walk outside with it, you're going to do 5 years.
Well, that's
And
exactly
that's
right.
what they're going to have to do to stop it. And all this other jive is just jive.
Well, people are afraid to
Most
criticize.
of it now.
People are afraid to...
Washington Redskins, if they think hiring the...
Wait a minute here. Just wait a minute. People are afraid to criticize Janet Reno because she's a woman, but she ought to be back in the Everglades wrestling alligators because, first of all, she's a liar, and she lied about that deal in Waco when they burned those kids to death, and there was no reason to do that on God's earth. Was there any reason to do that?
Being a woman.
Pardon me?
Nothing to do with her being a woman.
Absolutely nothing. But I mean, I don't want to get a bunch of phone calls from a bunch of screaming lesbians.
And I figured out...
Beautiful. I'm just kidding.
I figured out how women can have this equality they want in the military.
Yes, how?
When they turn 18, make that trip down to the post office and pick up one of them cards. That's how you get the equality. You're running a 100-yard dash, you don't start at the 50-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Fred, I will buy 1 million shirts from you if you can tell me what expurgatory paroxysms means.
Means a boner.
Something you don't know anything about.
How did he know?
All right.
What were we going to say about the Redskins? We got to go here in a second.
We do?
Yeah.
They're making a big mistake if they think that the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys is going to solve their problem.
Who would?
Well, the Dallas has 3 plays. Anybody could be the offensive coordinator for Dallas.
Yeah.
They hand the ball to Emmett. They throw the ball to Emmett. They let Emmett block while Aikman throws it to Marvin Irvin.
Yeah.
That's only 3 plays. Can he take that with him to Washington?
Of course, it could be Michael Irvin. That might be also
Michael
who
Irvin.
Yeah, who we were talking about, yeah. No, he can't take that to Washington, and that's a good point. You know who the Washington Redskins should hire?
Yep. Ditka.
Either Mike Ditka or, even better yet, my man, Buddy Ryan.
No, you know where Buddy Ryan should go?
No.
Atlanta. If Atlanta's as serious about winning, then they'll hire Buddy Ryan. If they're not serious, they'll hire somebody else.
Yeah, true.
The Ditka should be in Washington.
All right,
huh?
Go ahead.
Never mind.
All right, I love you. I'll call you later. Hey, I hope you sell some shirts, huh?
I have other picks to make.
We have to go.
Too late.
1-800-272... Kiss off, then.
But that don't need... 1-800-272-1957. Fred Imus in El Paso.
They get it close.
What'd you say?
Get a close-up of that shirt hanging behind you.
God.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Fred Imus in the morning.
Joke. Hung up. Well, all right. All right, chances are... Come in, Angela. Chances are you probably have a snowstorm this winter. Oh, we're predicting one here in New York today. Hey, you know what I just got? I got one of those Grand Cherokees.
Oh, man. What a hot automobile.
Now, so you could go to your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer and get you a Grand Cherokee, and now you're not going to pay what I paid for mine.
What'd you pay for yours, What was that bill? What did it come to? Sticker?
Well, I haven't exactly received it yet. But I'm just on a serious note. I have a Grand Cherokee and a Rolls Royce, and I'd rather drive the Grand Cherokee. Yeah. Because I bought the Rolls Royce, by the way, when I just before I went to rehab. So
when you're making all those wise decisions.
Yeah, when I was making all those great decisions.
You'll buy a Rolls Royce.
And then once you have it, and then I traded it in on another one, and so. But anyway, so I was still drinking when I did that. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't drinking when I got the Grand Cherokee. They're terrific. So go to your Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealer and tell them you want a Grand Cherokee or any other kind of Jeep. Because they make American cars now better than they make foreign cars.
Yep.
And Chrysler leads the way, and particularly your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Senator said that health care is the #1 problem facing...
Voiced their opposition to the health care plan.
Critical support for the health care.
Healthcare was a business issue long before it was a political one. Fortunately, a lot of businesses have had the answer for a long time. HIV.
One-eyed. We could do Rush Limbaugh, or we could do sports, which is sponsored by the stock exchange, or we could talk to the doctor.
We're going to do all 3. In what order?
Unlike other plans, there are no hidden costs. What's more, there's no deductible. There's even a $200 million program to enhance...
Isn't there any way they can beat me swearing?
No.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Well, just don't do it.
Well, I have an uncontrollable temper.
Tourette.
It's not, I don't have Tourette.
But
syndrome.
just please stop. Just
well,
don't
no,
do it.
But I'm telling you seriously,
What?
It just goes on every day.
Yeah, well, I know, but just censor yourself. Just curtail.
I'm just talking about trying to stay on top of it.
I understand that. All I'm saying is just,
I want all of the
use
people,
another expletive. That's
I want all of the people and all of the local stations we're on to die.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't
Especially
want
that
this
fat
kind of
guy I just met
horrible...
from Albany.
No, I promise you don't want that.
All right. Which stop set is this? The second? More We're going to seg sports right out of this. Then we'll talk to Dr. Witkin. Then we'll do Rush. No, you know what we'll do? We'll do Kinky. They ain't making Jews.
That's fine. I'm going to lead with that Kerrigan cut.
Yes. Okay, we'll do that. It's supposed to be in the studio, of course, but you go get it.
You have any interest in Bo Beetle?
Do you mean sexually?
For what? To talk about what?
Well, he's got some Yokarinos he's expecting from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, man.
If we have time. So it's your position I'm being unreasonable again?
Yes, that's my position. You're being unreasonable. No, you're not being unreasonable. But I'm just saying that I would like to see you here in this particular setting, you know, to just pull back a little bit in your explosive utterances that probably offend some people. That's all. I think there are alternatives.
Visit your local 9X mobile center or
So I've been totally out of control this morning? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, you haven't been totally out of control. No, I refute that. No, I absolutely not.
Go seg the sports thing I told you.
And early cancellation fee may apply.
Imus in the morning.
Damn it.
2020 sports.
Most people are worried about me and wondering what happened, and you know, those are the people that, you know, I want to tell that I'm okay. So, you know, it's not the most important thing, skating, so if I can't, I'll have to deal with it, but, you know, I'm okay, and it could have been a lot worse.
U.S. figure skater Nancy Kerrigan on ABC TV last night.
Let me just say this. Scott Muni, legendary New York disc jockey, been on the air here in New York for like 40 years at WNEW-FM, been gracious enough to come over here this morning, fill in for Mike Breen. And this sports is sponsored by the New York Stock Exchange. And that's just another example of what I'm talking about. I said I wanted to play Kinky Friedman's They Ain't Making Jews Like Jesus Anymore.
Right.
Now, Lou,
yeah,
is there a possibility in the course of the 5 years that you've been my engineer that would ever come up? Would you think that would ever come up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That I would ask for that. How often do we play that? Probably once a week?
You are deluded today.
How am I deluded? I'm just saying, why is it not in the studio?
It's not in the studio. You said you keep them in the office from now on.
Who said that?
You said that.
When did I? Is that a new policy I made?
You said it to me about a year ago, and it's always been.
Oh, well, I mean, a year ago, I must have been on something a year ago. I had a lung operation.
So now all the songs are in here now. Is that it?
No, just Kinky and Delbert.
You know, I told you all those Eagles records are supposed to be in there, too.
The Beatle records?
The Eagle records.
I don't like the Eagles anymore.
I don't like you.
Well, I don't like you either. Give me back the Christmas bonus then if you're so unhappy. All right. Once again here, I'm sorry you people have to hear this ugliness, but...
I could use the $5.
See, have you been observing all this, Dr. Whitcomb?
Yes, I have.
Now, do you see how? I mean, I do understand. I mean, I'm a nice person, but I can be really a jerk. But I mean, I've when I say these things and they just don't do them. Why is that? Why don't they?
It's hard to find people who do things as well and as fast as you do. It's hard.
Oh, cut it out.
No, really.
She's on the payroll.
Man,
she's not on anybody's payroll. You don't have to point out.
She's trying to get in your will.
Physician, heal thyself.
No, Lou Ruffino is a great engineer. I've had some great engineers in the 225 years I've been in radio.
Right.
And he's head and shoulders above everybody, but I just get mad when there are these simple things that I want done.
But
I want
to handle it well.
You know.
He handles it very well.
Well, shouldn't you be defending me, my closest friend on earth, other than my brother?
Well, not in these circumstances. No, I'm just trying to guide you. I guess that is, in a way, defending you from yourself.
Weren't you doing sports? Don't you? I thought you were in radio so long. Can't you take?
You're a legend, an icon.
Assert yourself.
Last night in the third game of the World Series.
Wasn't that Nancy Kerrigan?
Nancy Kerrigan recovering from a severe bruise to her right knee and a quadriceps tendon.
That's hideous what happened to her.
The result of an attack by an unidentified man as she left the ice in Detroit's Cobo Hall. Even though the assailant is said to be a man, Michigan authorities have not ruled out the possibility that the perpetrator could, in fact, be former Olympic champ and American ice skater-hating Ice Capades owner Dorothy Hamill. They're investigating leads. More on this story as it develops. Scott Davis won his second straight United States figure skating championship.
Time out here. I know you don't have much